Hello everyone, today I'll be showing you guys some more features that car enthusiasts want in GTAO Online. Let's get into it. The first feature I want to recommend is the ability to keep modifications that we previously bought. I have changed this car so many times. I've bought pretty much all these bumpers. I bought every single one of these. I've bought most of the rear bumpers, but I want to change it sometimes and change the bumper and change the color and whatnot. So why can't I keep those? So if I want to go back to it, I can go back to that modification without having to re-buy it. I've wasted so much money this way and it's so annoying. I don't think it would be particularly hard for Rockstar to add this either. All they have to do is remember the modifications that you bought, and when you go into Los Angeles Customs or your auto shop, wherever you want to go to customize your car, these modifications will get saved. This is very easy to do, and for a lot of people this may be kind of nitpicking, like, oh, just rebuy the modification again or whatever, but these modifications are getting really expensive. And the wheels, like these new street and track wheels, are not really new, but you know what I mean, relatively new. Whenever you buy them and change them out, you waste like 30,000 on wheels. Like, that's 30,000 down the drain, and I would like to keep that 30,000 and save it for later or something, do whatever with it. And I don't know why Rockstar hasn't done this yet. It's a very easy feature to add, and they should add it soon. The next feature is the ability to be able to hear the Supercharger Wine or the turbo spool, something like that, just more of the engine in a car. I want to be able to hear it more. The Buffalo STX is a perfect example. You can hear the Supercharger Wine up, you hear the, you know, when we talk about the Hellcats, they all do that. The GT500, the ZL1, they all make that noise. And why can't I adjust that noise so I can hear it more or less? Like, it's just whatever you have, it's whatever you get, you know? You can't change it, you can't alter it, you can't do nothing. And they really should make it to where you can alter it or change it or something. And it's, once again, very easy to do. It's already in the game. It's a feature in the game. It's just in the background and only available to Rockstar. It's not available to us to be able to make these sounds higher or lower. But Rockstar could easily make it accessible to us. It's not very hard to do. All you do is go to Los Angeles Customs, you go to the turbo section or something like that, supercharger section, and you change the rates or the sound that it makes. It's very simple to do, and once again, it already exists just in the background. It's just that we can't access it for some reason. I'm not sure why Rockstar didn't do this. A big opportunity to add this was the tuners update. They didn't add it back then. I don't know if we'll ever get it, but this was a very simple feature to add. They unfortunately didn't add it, and once again, I don't know if we'll ever get it, but it's nice to dream here and there. But it would be nice to have, just so the engines and the cars have more of a character, because honestly, engine noises all sound the same now. Turbo whines and supercharger whines would be something unique to each car and each engine that you can alter, and it would just be cool, and a lot of car guys would definitely appreciate it. I know I would definitely appreciate it, because once again, just more character, more realism to the cars in GTA Online. The next feature I want is fuel. I want to be able to go to a gas station and refill my car. I think it would be so cool to do that. Right now, you don't have to do any of that. Your car always has gas somehow. It never goes down. The needle never moves up and down. It's just wherever you have is wherever you have. You never have to fill it up, which is incredibly dumb. Every single car in the game, most of them at least, have a fuel gauge. So if they have a fuel gauge, why isn't it being used? I truly have no clue. It's really dumb and stupid how Rockstar hasn't added this. And once again, if they were to add this, it would probably be in the tuners update, but the tuners update has already passed. They haven't added it, and I think a lot of players in GTA Online probably wouldn't like this. A lot of the grinders and people who take the game way too seriously probably would not like this. But maybe you don't have to make fuel a necessity. Maybe you can make it to where it's just a option to fill up your car and not necessarily a necessity. Once again, there you just saw the fuel gauge. The fuel gauge does exist on most cars. I don't know why we don't have it already, and yeah, it's very unfortunate. I think this is probably one of the simplest features to add, but will we ever see it? I'm not too sure. It's really up to Rockstar at this point. And yeah, I would like to see it get added. I think, once again, a lot of people wouldn't like it. They probably find it annoying or a nuisance, but I think it would be cool, and once again, give the cars more character. The next feature, once again, is very simple to add. Rockstar could add this like tomorrow if they wanted to. Hang our arms out the window and let us drive with one hand at 12 o'clock. I think this would be so cool, and recently the crew did something similar in their Motorfest update. I don't play the crew, so I'm not too familiar, but you can drive with one hand on the wheel and one arm hanging out the window. I think that would be so cool, and I don't know if people would see it as copying or whatever, but I mean, it's not unique to any game where, like, it's nothing special. All you do is you hang an arm out the window and you drive with one hand. Like, it's nothing trademarked or anything. I don't think they could trademark that. It's all just motion capture and animations. And once again, I think people will probably see it as copying, like, oh, Rockstar's copying the crew because the crew did this first and now Rockstar's doing it, but it's really nothing unique. Once again, it's just a simple animation of us hanging our arm out the window. And once again, this would be optional. This wouldn't be mandatory where, like, you have to hang your arm out the window. You can enable it and disable it in the interaction menu, sort of like you can on motorcycles. Motorcycles, you can ride with one hand on the throttle and one just resting. which you would be able to do in a car as well, and it'd actually be easier to do in a car. but they don't have it for cars, unfortunately. And maybe a speed of below like 60 miles per hour or something is when it's triggered, or I'm not too sure about the specifics, but it's definitely possible. Rockstar could do it. Will they ever do it? Once again, I'm not too sure, but this is a very easy thing to add. I think, once again, a lot of people would see it as copying, but I wouldn't see it as copying. It's just a simple animation, and I think it would be really cool to drive with one hand on the wheel, especially in first person. It would be really cool to see that. But honestly, I have no idea. Maybe they will add it, maybe they won't, but we can only hope and dream, I guess. We could see it in the crew, but maybe not in GTA Online. As someone who drag races a lot in GTA Online, one feature I really want to see is throttle control. A lot of times I drag race against my friends to figure out which car is faster in a straight line, and it's often user error because maybe I brake boost at the wrong time or my throttle wasn't the best. Just let us have a launch control option to be able to do everything for us. It would be very helpful and very easy to use. I assume you just activate it in the interaction menu somehow. And once again, a very easy feature to add. I'm not sure it's that complicated to, make a launch control. Forza has had it. I think the crew has it, but I'm not too sure. Don't quote me on that. But I mean, it wouldn't be too hard, I assume. I really don't think it will. And once again, it'd be very helpful for drag races because whenever I mess up a launch, it's my fault. It's not the car's fault. So if the car was able to do it by itself, it would be way easier. And there would be a lot of failed attempts that would have never happened because I use launch control. And I think a lot of drag racers especially would like this feature because, I mean, I'm sure they've perfected it at this point, but me on console with my somewhat broken controller, it's very hard to launch a car sometimes. And once again, launch control would be very easy to add, very simple to use, and I think I would love it a lot. I think a lot of YouTubers would like it a lot because it'd be very easy to figure out things and statistics and whatnot when everything is up to the car and launch controls in the game. But once again, will we ever see this feature? I'm not too sure. Maybe this is probably one of the features that is least likely to be added because it's so out of the blue. But Rockstar is a strange company, so never say never, I guess. It's just however they're feeling at the office that day. Now, it's in the thumbnail. The feature I would like the most is NOS. I think it would be so cool to have NOS on maybe not every car, because not every car should have NOS. Imagine seeing a Faggio with NOS or something, but I think a lot of cars would be sick with NOS, like doing drag races, street races, everything. And the thing that kind of sucks about NOS is usually only the person who's using the NOS can see it. If you're the passenger in a car and someone uses NOS, you can see it, but if you are racing someone and they use NOS, you can't see it. So it kind of sucks in that department, but I'm sure maybe they could fix that with the next generation consoles. Arena War did debut on Xbox One and PlayStation 4 and PC, so maybe the specs at the time were limiting them in some sort of way, but now I think it's very easy to do, especially with the newer powerful consoles and powerful PCs. I mean, PCs have been getting more and more powerful every single year, and now they are definitely at a point where they can handle stuff like this. I will say NOS, even on the Imperator on Arena War cars, is very expensive, so I'm not sure how expensive it would be on a regular car, but I assume it would be relatively the same amount, maybe $450,000, and even then, I would still be okay with paying $450,000 for NOS. I wouldn't put it on every car, even if it was available on every car, because not every car deserves NOS, and I'd probably end up bankrupt because $450,000 for every car I have is a lot of money. And in the likeliness tier of us seeing this in GTA Online, I say this falls pretty high, I guess. Like, this isn't hard to add, but it's just a strange feature that Rockstar could add, but they probably won't. Us car guys could only dream at this point. One feature that would be very easy to add, they can literally add this tomorrow, the animation's already in the game. Let us roll down windows without using our hand. So basically how you roll down a window right now is you use the unarmed, the fist emoji, you stick a finger out the window, and that rolls down the window without cracking it. But just let us see an animation real quick and let us roll down the window. It'd be really cool to see that. I don't know if we'll ever see this, but once again, this is not a hard feature to add by any means. As an off-roader, one feature I would really like to see added is a low gear mode, where I could put my truck in low gear and climb easier and rev higher to give the power, deliver the power to the wheels where it needs to be. And it would just be so much easier to off-road this way. You kind of have to do this manually, like on Xbox. I use the RT button for gas. I'm not sure what it is on PlayStation or PC. Probably W on PC, but anyways, you have to slowly roll onto it in order to get up without spinning the wheels. And even sometimes using that method, I still fall down a mountain. Sometimes it's still very hard to do that, but with a low gear mode, I think it would be very easy to do it and off-road that way. Now, on the scale of will this be added and will this not be added, I'm not entirely sure where this falls, because this is something that's very useful. I mean, hell, I would use it probably a lot because I do off-road relatively frequently in GTA Online, more than I probably should. But once again, Rockstar is very strange and nitpicky about what they add. I'm not sure if this would constitute a addition to GTA Online, but once again, as an off-roader in GTA Online, I would really like this. It'd be really cool to have a low gear mode. And even in some cars, when you go up a mountain, they kind of struggle a little bit, especially with the front wheel drive. And having a low gear mode in those cars would also be good. But mainly for off-roading is what I'm trying to say here. And this probably falls somewhere in the middle of where and when Rockstar will add this, or if they will add this. They probably won't, but once again, it's nice to dream, and it would be useful if they added it. I would use it. Sticking to the off-road theme is snorkels. So here is a snorkel. I have it on the dubstep. Before you say, why are you off-roading a G-Wagon? If you don't know, G-Wagons are very off-road capable in real life. They're absolute beasts. People don't use them because, you know, it's often rich people driving them in the suburbs and Rodeo Drive. But anyways, getting back to GTA Online, snorkels aren't functional, at least not incredibly. I think they are marginally functional, but they should be very functional. Like, I'm not sure why they don't play a bigger role in aquatic off-roading, because if they did, then I would put them on pretty much every off-roader I have. I think snorkels look pretty ugly, so if they're not functionally like 100% bulletproof, I probably still wouldn't add them. But if there was a 100% chance of it helping get water out the engine and helping you go underwater for just a little bit longer while off-roading, I would definitely add it. And I think it looks good in some off-roaders actually, but I don't know, the trade-off is not very big. And once again, I think Rockstar should pay more attention to the off-roading aspect of things. If they made off-roading a little bit more realistic in GTA Online, I think people would pay more attention. And if they added more realistic trucks, like if they added a 4Runner or I don't know, like classic off-roaders that everyone drives, like 80 series Land Cruisers and stuff like that, I think people would pay a lot of money. And how would they get that money? They would buy a shark card if they're not grinders. I'm a grinder with parentheses. So I don't know if I would buy with shark cards, but I know a lot of people would buy with shark cards, and that would make Rockstar a lot of money. So this is just another opportunity they could go down, but I don't know if they will. They never really have paid too much attention to the off-road side of GTA Online, but maybe 2024, 2023 is the change of time for Rockstar. Maybe they will finally give the off-roaders something a little bit more to bite on. And if they don't, I guess we'll keep chewing on what we have so far, which is not very much. And just keep dreaming, I guess. But yeah, adding a snorkel, a functional snorkel that helps a lot would be really cool, especially to me as an off-roader. Now, this is probably the hardest feature for them to add in this video, but let us adjust wheels and things like that, like specifically sidewall. A lot of wheels, their sidewall is tiny. Like most of the high-end wheels, their sidewall is like marginally, it's like a skinny little line. And most of the street and track wheels are as well, unless they're tuner based and the sidewall is pretty thick like these here. And it doesn't make any sense. Like, let us adjust the sidewall and the wheel size, and while you're at it, let us adjust fitment, because on some of these cars they come with over fenders that like they do not align with the wheels, and the wheels are way too much into the wheel cavity, and the fender is like way out, so it just makes it look weird. And some cars actually come like this. If you didn't, it's very hard to notice, but on the Ballista Compact, I'll try to put a picture here, it is very noticeable and very bad, and Rockstar needs to fix that. And that is it, everyone. Some more features, quality of life features that the car community wants in GTA Online. Hope you enjoyed. Hopefully you relate to some of these features. Maybe you think some of these features should be added, maybe you don't. Let me know in the comments, and maybe I'll deliberate with you guys. And yeah, have a great day. Hopefully you enjoyed, and goodbye.